LGD Gaming versus C-Deck Gaming. Game 2.
Here we go then. Game number 2. C-Deck with a 1-0 lead against LGD. And I would like to remind you, the winner goes to the upper bracket final and will be guaranteed more than $2 million. Big game.
So we see C-Deck once again taking out the Lash, and LGD is going to take out Bounty Hunter. Like in this sort of team fight game, you don't really want to give away Bounty Hunter if you don't plan to go for it. And the Queen of Pain, I think C-Deck might actually just leave it open because I don't think LGD seems like they're actually interested to open the first pick with Queen of Pain here.
I think we'll see first phase Darkseer. I think Darkseer has been proven to be like, you can't pick him in first phase and you can't really get punished that much for it.
Yeah, like he's really good at like dealing with weaker lanes if you have a dual lane. Darkseer excels at that. So, and he really fits into the game where they are focusing a lot on team fight composition.
Yeah, I feel like if like the Phoenix and the Darkseer were swapped, I think that LGD would have won that game instead.
I think that's right. I also go back to something that No-Tail brought up when we were talking to him, and that's that Lina will be hotly contested in this series. Lina's kind of taking on the same value as Queen of Pain. Wow. In that both teams run her in multiple roles.
And
it's quite often, sorry, Winter, we talk about heroes that you can pick early and that can be used in different ways. You guys were talking about that earlier. That is really, really strong, but there are also heroes that you can pick early that there isn't really any other way to use them, like Undying.
Yeah. Undying, not a hero that they pick a lot, 1-0.
I'm surprised.
They banned it all the other games.
Right.
It's almost always first phase banned by LGD.
I think they don't really want to fight into like C-Deck's Undying as well. Like that might also be the case, and like what you're mentioning, Ted, like Undying seems to be a very one-dimensional hero. But I guess in this matchup, like in this game series itself, because it's so much aggression, so I guess probably the teams feel like we are both going to do the same thing, and it's okay for us to actually pick something that's just consistently focusing on just team fighting and taking towers.
So if you're Xiao8, you're looking back at last game, it's like, okay, they beat us out at team fights. Was it the hero issue or was it an overall game plan issue? And I think he seems to think it's a hero.
Lina.
More hero issue than anything. If he's going for the same sort of team fight again.
Yeah, and see that here, opening with the Lina, like what Johan suggested that teams would actually be doing this more and more often. Lina being a very flexible pick, and you can really do a lot of stuff with the hero.
She's OP is what it is.
Phantom Lancer.
Wow.
Hey, why not?
Ember Spirit.
And there's the Ember.
Yeah, that was like a really quick reaction from Xiao8. He just goes for a hero that deals with the PL. The last game, they didn't have a good hero or a good way to deal with the illusions apart from the Moonglaives, but this time around, they will have a much more easier way to deal with the illusions with the Ember.
Do you not think Ember takes a bit of time to get to that position? I mean, are they going to... We know C-Deck play a very aggressive game. Are they going to give LGD the time to get Ember online?
I mean, at the same time, PL takes time to come online.
That's true.
Yeah, but, I mean, remember, we saw Maybe's Ember against Empire, and I mean, 11-0 and 9 just absolutely controlled that game.
I mean, the other alternative is Anti-Mage, and Anti-Mage takes even longer to get online. So I think I like this approach a lot more by LGD.
Yeah, I feel like Ember is a hero that you really have to have a lot of confidence in your mid player, because I think as a safe lane carry, I don't necessarily like him in this situation, but I think maybe can get that hero online fast enough and is confident fighting with it early.
And looking at the heroes right now, C-Deck continues to take out like heroes that fight very well. Spirit Breaker works very well with the Undying. It's something that C-Deck likes to run as well a lot. Undying plus Spirit Breaker, we saw that from the wildcards from them. So they're trying to relieve the pressure. I think they don't want PL to have a lot of pressure in the lane.
Is Darkseer ban-worthy here by LGD? Like, we saw the power of it on C-Deck last time.
Not LGD.
I mean, LGD could even run it
way,
themselves.
yeah.
I feel they could run it in the sense that they do dual lanes with Undying, and Iron Shell and Ember Spirit would allow them to play very aggressive.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Iron Shell Ember Spirit is kind of the other incarnation of double Iron Shell Snowball, right?
That would be scary.
I think it's actually slightly stronger as well.
I
Because
agree.
Ember has much better chasing ability as a hero.
Yeah, I guess C-Deck might take it, though. I'm pretty sure it'd be really good for LGD. And what about Wyvern? Not a hero that C-Deck's looking towards again?
I think Wyvern could work very well with the PL in the sense that you're buying a lot of time with your Splinter Blast earlier in the lanes, and you can actually just buy time for PL to farm. So it could also be a potential support that C-Deck is looking to go for. Like both teams are just gearing up into like very team fight centric. I'm just gonna go take your towers very early with our tombstone and whatnot. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what CDEC chooses to take out here. They're gonna take out a hero and they're gonna choose one right now. So it's really crucial. This junction is really crucial for CDEC.
I mean, it is interesting though. Once again, it fits the pattern. You know, CDEC is making other teams play their game. They're making other teams try to out CDEC. And so far, I mean, it's not even been close. They played the cleanest Dota in the tournament.
Yeah, like what Johan said, they might be predictable, but they're really good at it and it's really fast. They do it. You might expect what to come, but you can't react to it in the game. So CDEC's gonna take out the Dazzle. Probably just not wanting LG to have something to protect the Ember in the fight so he can actually get out if the Ember is in trouble.
And that's been one of MMY's best heroes recently. I brought that up earlier, 9-1 on that hero. It's a hero that we've seen do really well on the main stage.
I mean, does Ember really need that much protection, though? I don't really think they have good lockdown for him. He's one of the few heroes that can just completely get out of the Lina combo. So it's not always imperative that you have a Dazzle paired with him.
I guess the other reason could
Storm
possibly
Spirit.
be like a Dazzle plus Undying dual lane maybe, like to pressure the PL. I'm not sure why, but that's probably the other reason.
So we see Storm, a hero that will probably be in the mid role. And what do you guys think about that matchup, Storm versus Ember?
I think it's definitely Storm favored, and right now I could understand why they actually took out the Dazzle, because Dazzle is a good way of dealing with the Storm initiations. You go in, you target one person, and there's always a Dazzle there to actually mess everything up.
And the sort of classic Storm counter that we've seen in action today, the Anti-Mage, not necessarily something you want to pick up alongside the Ember Spirit. I don't remember seeing that combination.
Is there a chance that we see Wisp Tiny from LGD?
It doesn't really synergize well with Undying though. I'm not really sure. I don't think that might be what they're looking for. They're probably just going to go like very heavy team fight.
I mean, it's now a look that they've shown a lot recently as well. The last few times that they've run that combo, it's been maybe on the Tiny, and so that shifts Sylar over to the Ember Spirit, which I don't remember seeing him play that hero for quite some time.
Yeah, I feel it's just going to be like maybe more team fight focus, and like you mentioned, Alan, Ember is mostly played by maybe, so, and maybe plays the Tiny as well, so it's less likely they're actually going to go for that route here.
I mean, LGD really need to look to their supports. I actually really like the Earthshaker ban, although they were the ones that banned it. The supports that are still in the pool, you know, Io is probably the one that they played the most. Oh.
I mean, this is a good support of dealing with the Phantom Lancer. You have good amount of area damage and you have good chasing ability.
I think that's probably going to be an offlane Sand King support on Dying, though.
Yeah, possible. We've seen them run, I think at least once. I remember watching the game that Yao was actually playing offlane Sand King.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about.
Would they do that with an Undying when you could at least stack camps and farm a Blink with Sand King? He's going to have a harder time doing that in the offlane, no?
I think the way the game would work would probably be the Undying, like you mentioned, stacking the creeps. And when Sand King rotates to the jungle, it opens a lane for Undying to actually go for levels.
Okay.
I mean, wow, on paper, it's a great counter to the Storm Spirit, but man, I am so nervous now about LGD's ability to get online. I mean, you know that CDEC train is coming, and you better have something to deal with that aggression. AM and Ember Spirit, that's a risk.
It's really about the mid lane, I think, in this. Like, Anti-Mage versus Darkseer, Sylar's probably played that 100 times at least, and I'm pretty confident that he will at least, you know, be able to farm his Battle Fury at a reasonable time. But the Ember Spirit versus Storm Spirit is a really difficult matchup for Ember Spirit, and maybe he's been in this, like, crucial, like, you know, underhanded mid matchups quite a lot.
And that's something. Look, you know, maybe we've talked about what he's done in this tournament. Sylar, again, has some of the most impressive, arguably the best stats at the International of any individual player. I mean, LGD putting their tournament lives on the line in the hands of their two best players.
Yeah, and see that here taking out the Skywrath Mage. They realized that LGD has a very greedy lineup. They need a support that can stand alone and do stuff by himself. Like Skywrath is a very strong early roaming support and can potentially create enough space to actually balance out the draft that LGD has.
What do you do though here as LGD? This, to me, you have to have a fifth pick that's going to take some of that pressure off early. You know, CDEC's fifth pick, I think there's a lot less pressure on them right now.
Yeah, I think you're right, and they're probably going to pick a hero that can, maybe Rubik. Rubik is still online, and that's Sand King stun, that's Blink, and it synergizes well with Lina. So that could be something CDEC looking to go for with their last pick.
And one of MMY's just absolute signature heroes, already 20 wins as Rubik in this patch. That is, I feel like whatever pick LGD make here, CDEC have this draft, man.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So many heroes I hate in this game. Unbelievable.
It's the Storm plus Silencer, and it's a really good combination here in this game because it deals very well with Sand King. And it's also very good versus the Ember. I think Sebastian mentioned that before, like the last word and the ultimate really makes it hard for Ember. And as an Ember, when you're dealing with a situation like this, you probably want to go like for a Manta as well, a defensive item, so it really hinders his progress as a hero.
I mean, but look, guys, at the end of the day, how fun is this match going to be? I mean, we saw earlier, right, a match in which I thought Secret had the better draft. But the signature Burning Anti-Mage brought him back. Can LGD pull off the same kind of comeback here?
All right, well, we're about to find out because we're going back to the arena and to our commentary team for game number 2 between CDEC and LGD.
Thank you very much. Yes, let's see if it is possible for LGD to kick back, or will CDEC take their first series against LGD. Not only that, achieve the dream. Coming through the open qualifier, not even in first position through the qualifier, you get yourself in a second position from the qualifier. Then you're going to fight the wild card. You take that one out, and now not only do you get winner's bracket, you're one win away from the winner's bracket final.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It's like, no matter what happens to CDEC in this series and in this tournament from here on out, they've been super impressive, right? That's got to be really relieving for them going into the tournament with as little pressure as they have. The only real pressure they have is the one they've put on themselves. And if you remember from the Shiki interview, he was like, from what I remember, he was like, he's dreaming, of course, of going very far, but they're taking it one step at a time, getting into top 8, and then they'll see how far they can get. And, you know, with this kind of play, I guess they weren't really sure how good the other teams were going to be relative to themselves, because else they might have had more confidence. He has been, I mean, the entirety of CDEC have just been absolutely incredible. Their teamwork is really what makes this team so good.
A small mistake from Zhao Wei, just accidentally summoning the courier back at the tier 1 tower. So it's made the very long trek back to base. But he still TP'd out early to get that lane ward down, so they really don't want CDEC to get a grip on this offlane. Make sure Sylar is protected at all costs. Nahaz asked the question, can Sylar do it with the anti-mage? We've seen him do it before.
Yeah.
With this protection, he should be able to do it again, but it's only that now. Now Zhao Wei's able to farm up inside of his jungle. They know when CDEC's going to move over. He can support maybe a lot earlier too with Novas and Frostbites. And if things do really go wrong, you got MMY that can move in as that Undying to try and stabilize the lane. LG's got so many combos to work with.
The key heroes I'm looking forward to perform in this game for LGD are the CM and Undying, actually, because if their early game does not have a major impact, I think CDEC are just going to go into a mid-game with
CDEC are in a position where they might be looking to fight. They're moving down the bottom river. MMY starts with a 2-man decay, and Sylar, well, he doesn't really want to be in this one. Now there's MMY, actually the burn from the Iron Shell's doing the work. MMY will be going down here, and the first blood is spilt by CDEC. The bounty room will go the way of the Storm Spirit as well, but the top room was grabbed by Yao.
Darkseer is absolutely godlike in the 1 fights. He's just so good. If you have 2 Iron Shells out on, I believe he put one on the PL and one on himself, and they just run in. You need to have a very specific composition to fight that. And Zhao Wei with the right call, which is just, we're not going for this. We're going to sacrifice a hero. If they tried to fight into that, they could have easily lost 2 or 3.
Interesting to note too that maybe moved back for a little bit, just to move inside the jungle and actually let Yao get his 2nd level. And at this point, Yao actually hasn't leveled anything up. He's sitting with just 2 points right now. Unskilled. Still waiting to see what he needs. As Shiki as well as Q, they're going to keep this Ember Spirit well away from the lane, as the brothers just want to battle one-on-one. The Spirit Boys, Ember versus Storm.
Curious to see how this top lane plays out. You know, as Ben said, Sylar has played Anti-Mage versus Darkseer 100 times. But this is a little bit of an unusual position. This time the Darkseer is in his safe lane, and that opens up for the possibility of pulling, for the possibility of going into the jungle to farm immediately after pushing out the wave. This especially becomes relevant when Darkseer's level 3 and higher. And it could take Silo by surprise just how much farm XZ will be able to find in that situation.
I want to keep tabs on bottom lane right now. While Yao might have copped a lance as well as a light striker right in the face, Aggressive has had 4 decays put on him. He's got 300 life right now. A Burrow strike from Yao, if he had an extra level up in it, he would get in range to have a crack at PL. He might think there's a doppelganger, and now it's actually, yep, they're going to keep it at 4 and 300 life on this PL against the 1,000 of Undying.
It looks funny when you have so low health and you take 60 damage. It looks like you have a heart running with how fast the bar regens, you know? Because you have so little to regen, so the tango is just very powerful. And I mean, it's all great that MMY is harassing him a lot with these decays, but Aggressive doesn't seem too phased by it. He's still finding his CS.
Ember Spirit trying to have a crack there at Shiki. He's got Flame Guns as well, Searing Chains, but no ability to just go into that Sleight of Fist and catch him out of position. Not before the level 6 will arrive, at least. Then maybe, like, it's Spirit Jump versus Ball Lightning.
The tricky thing about this lane for Maybe is what gives... Ember is generally a weak laner. His main strong point in lane is his ability to run heroes down with Flame Guard, but you can very easily remove that with 1 or 2 remnants. Just 1 remnant and an overload should be enough to remove level 2 Flame Guard right now. It gives 200 magic block. He has 2 points in remnants, so that's 180, and overload is 30, so it's 210. And I think this is the reason Shiki is skilling as he is. Usually you would see 1 point remnant and start maxing up the overload in this kind of lane, but he's very good for keeping Maybe at bay and finding easy farm.
Okay, I just want to flag right now that if you combine both the SK as well as the Undying CS, being the 2 heroes that have the presence on the bot lane, they don't even reach the Crystal Maiden, who's got 8 CS at the moment. Easily farming up inside the jungle. Not stacking, just trying to find some levels. While Sylar actually having a really good time on the offlane. Sitting at 14 for 1. Not a bad CS score. Maybe he's not looking too bad in mid as well, even though Storm is almost double his CS.
He has more than Darkseer. It's pretty surprising for me. I mean, AM is pretty good against DS in lane, but DS having the safe lane and all, and the fact that they've side pulled, now they've top pulled as well with Q.
Yep.
Sylar's doing really well here.
It's not just that, it's like he's not having to bring in other support players. So MMY, Crystal Maiden, Yao, like there's no rotations forced out by these 3 players. I almost want to class both Yao and MMY as support in this lane because they keep on tag teaming in and out and they're both playing semis.
Have you noticed Aggressive skill build by the way? In the bottom lane to PL? He does not have a point in Doppelganger right now, which is very unusual. And LGD could have actually figured this out if they were paying close attention. He threw a lance, and you could see it's a level 2 lance from the damage it did, and right after he charged. That's when the Sand King can actually go for an aggressive play because he can't get out with anything.
They're coming down bottom lane.
He crashed
Aggressive.
level 4.
Well, where's that doppelganger? You said it's up. The tombstone will be dropped. Xiaowei dropping low on this lane. Doesn't actually reach him. Burrow strike. Where is it from Yao? Still on cooldown. Now the doppelganger forward. There goes Xiaowei. They can move for more. The light strike array controlling the Undying. The Burrow strike will come back, but they back him back into the Iron Shells. Garda's still here. That's a huge decay. Garda's gonna get beaten down. It's a double kill now for MMY. The surge away from Darkseer. Still level 1. Now the tombstone will time out. But a good return while in middle lane, Storm Spirit runs away, actually hanging around a second longer, as Maybe was running after him with his Flame Guard up.
Wow, if he would have died to Ember, that is completely unheard of when Ember is level 5 and Storm is level 6.
How about now when you've got both Nova as well as Frostbite? He's only got 1 small Ball Lightning away.
They can't.
Nope, they cannot. That's not level 6 on Ember, so we cannot reach the Storm Spirit.
Now, of course, this matchup is a little bit different than usual because Maybe has the Crystal Maiden aura from Xiao 8, so it definitely does help him out in that lane. But he is still losing it. He is 21 for 1 against 32 and 10. But that could have been way worse. I've seen way worse beatdowns of Embers by Storms than this.
And you still have to remember, we have Sylar farming. They've moved him down to the bottom lane now, so he's able to have a lot more space, and this will make CDEC think twice about what they do. In fact, they already thought about it. XZ rotates with him, so they put Aggressive on the top lane to find his farm. While Yao now also moves into the jungle. Level 2 Sandstorm, trying to reach that Blink Dagger at a good timing.
This is probably the correct response from CDEC as well. If they keep running the same lane as they did bottom, now that Sylar is already level 6, this would be a very difficult lane for them to fight. They would just be out-leveled here. Letting him farm here instead of top is not the biggest of deals as long as they find theirs on PL. And the question is how they can transition into the mid game. But as I mentioned earlier, MMY and Xiao 8 need to come up big, and so far MMY with that double kill bottom has salvaged their early game, which was looking like it could become really snowballing.
I'm wondering if this is a time when LGD want to try and pop a smoke, because they've got a very aggressive Observer Ward inside the Dire jungle. Now this is looking at the triple stack. They know the triple stack is there and the fact that Storm Spirit is backed up. Can you even get over there to contest it? Could Yao do that?
they really don't have good heroes at killing Storm. Like, that's the problem. If Sand King doesn't come up there, they can't. And even if he does, it might not even be enough, because they have to burst him during that, since he can just jump with Frostbite on. So I think you just let CDEC have it. They're also extremely fast at farming it, by the way. Storm and Lina combined are very good stack players. See take it here, go back to base, probably save the Haste Rune. And you might be looking for a side lane gank. Maybe he can find Salar. It was pretty low. He's going to use the salve after this creep, though.
The Observer Ward sees him. There's an Obs just sitting in the lane. That's a fresh one as well. They were waiting for the LGD rotation. And they actually show him in lane anyway. So Yaowen very close behind aggressive. But MMY can't give that burst damage, not before he's going to doppelganger away. It kind of feels more of just like a lane presence more than anything else. But maybe he's been given a lot of space. Like, yes, obviously Storm Spirit flash farmed, but maybe he's still been free to do what he wants in the mid. He's only 400, maybe 500-ish net worth behind that of the Storm up. You take huge stacks like that.
Top lane. Aggressive is being a little bit of a bully here with the lances onto Yao, but Yao has Tranquils, so he actually doesn't really care that much. And he can also Sandstorm one of them as he does here. Done. Slowing down a little bit, and I would say this favors LGD's team. As long as the early game goes decently and they can transition into a mid game where Salah will be finding the farm, it's been an early game well done for them.
Well, CDEC might do something about that. They're coming down as, well, there's your Ball Lightning chasing after Xiao Wei. He is level 4, but there's not much protection behind him. Trying to turn for a Frostbite. Unable to get it, just goes for the Nova. So a solo kill coming in for the Storm Spirit. As he'll run himself straight back to mid lane on the back of the end of the Haste Rune. And Sylar very defensively moving in behind his own tier 1 tower. He's got no vision of Shiki. He'll get it in a moment when he'll walk underneath the Observe Ward in the Dire Jungle. And then Sylar can feel a little bit more confident. Maybe not for good reasons, however. I suppose Silencer as well as Lina are sitting on bottom lane. And Lina just hit level 6, misses the Light Strike Array.
They wouldn't have killed him, but they would have pressured him quite a lot. Or actually, maybe they would, because she leveled up to level 6 with that creep that just died. If that was the plan there, that would have been absolutely sick, landing the stun, Slave, put some damage from the Iron Shell, and then maybe that Laguna could have just been enough. Good idea for CDEC. Very difficult.
If Q hung around, they might have had a better chance too. But he backed up. In fact, this Silencer, he's got 2 intelligence points stalled. Now he's going to find his global silence, taking the experience from the mid lane. It's kind of funny though, we haven't really felt the presence of Silencer yet.
It hasn't been that good of a game for him to shine yet. And I think obviously the biggest part whenever you pick Silencer, except in very few cases, is for the global. Sometimes you see him pick to
CDEC, bottom lane, they smoked in, they're jumping up to Sylar, and they will start the initiation. There's more support coming in for LGD. Maybe he's going to be here looking for the big Burrow Strike. The silence is still there, the global silence, they got it off. The TP out from Guard will be successful, while the Ball Lightning, they can't even catch up to Darkseer. He's away to safety. Shiki back behind the tier 1 tower and no Burrow Strike range. He might have 4 points in it, but already back behind the tower, they get the pick on Sylar and get out scot-free.
What an incredible disengage. That looked like that was easily going to be 2 or 3 kills. And just as we say the global silence is going to be important, he gets it at the key point right when they need it. I think they would have lost 3 heroes there if not for that global. That's very high value out of a defensive ultimate like that. Beautifully played again.
But this is the timing of CDEC. They've proven it time and time again. It's not just the precision during the team fights, it's knowing when to take them, knowing the silencer was going to reach that point. And now they just get to have even more fun. Aggressive moves up to the top lane. Getting very close to completing up those drums of his. Sylar just trying to force him back out, but this is not really the funnest place for Sylar to be when he doesn't have that Battle Fury up yet.
Aggressive's still out of mana though, so Sylar should be perfectly fine. The Lance Harass is not really going to be a big problem, and even if he wanted to go for it, Sylar still has extra magic resistance and a Ring of Health. If you're LGD, you might be more worried about your bottom tier 1 tower, which is really important to protect right now. The access into their jungle is going to disallow Sylar from farming it later. It's going to threaten any stacks that they would be looking to make as well. Well, speaking of that, XC is actually out scouting for it right now. It's not going to find anything though, and just probably going to farm this Hellbear Smasher camp.
He might get close to Yao, but at the same time, Yao's not looking for just the experience at this point. While that'll be a nice thing to have, he's looking for the extra 30 gold to have that Blink Dagger, which will be arriving. So we'll have a 12-minute Blink in for the SK of LGD. This has to have an effect. Because right now it kind of feels like CDEC are just chilling out, they're farming up on their cores, and they find the better composition when it comes to fights. They're not even being forced to fight while the global silence is down, because LGD just want to sit back and farm. Sylas still needs another 2,600 gold to finish up his Battle Fury.
And the global is once again going to be really important now, because if they see the Sand King starting the Epi anywhere, they can just global to counter it.
Yep.
Or if he wants to go for the stun into Epi on a gank together with any teammate, it's very easy for them to break the combo here.
Well, here they come. The Observer Ward is going to scan out Storm. He runs actually a little bit lower, so they may not have actually seen Shiki as he walked through in the dire jungle, but they'll see him as he walks in range of that Radiant Creep Wave, maybe just around the corner. And they're going to loop in behind. Nope, they're going to decide to go straight through the tree line. And the Blink Burrow Strike. Sylar comes in, burn them out. The Global Silence, however, allows Shiki to disengage once again. And Sylar in real trouble as a clog up inside the tree line. He will bring down the animation and stun over on maybe the back into a 3-man with the wall as well. LGD is a disaster under the tier 1 tower. Maybe it's being brought down by Q. The epicenter from Yao. He comes back in again, but who's he really going to get? The Silencer is tanking through most of it. The Sentry Ward will be dropped. Then in comes Shiki. He wants Yao down. He's going to get it. A triple kill actually for Aggressive, while MMY under the tier 1 tower trying to fight up against Aggressive. It's going to be an ultra kill. There's no real way to escape from this one. Lands back off cooldown. There it is! An ultra kill for CDEC, wiping LGD and only costing a Silencer to do it.
I really think you can't give this team Darkseer. XC is incredible at finding the best vacuum walls possible. He did it last game, he did it this game again. And it's not just that he finds them, it's also the way they play around the whole thing. It's very coordinated, very well structured fights. Again, perfect global silence timing out of Q just as they engage. And the silencer pick is really proving to be incredibly valuable here. At the same time, though, I feel like LGD, they just can't try for something like that. They need to predict that this is what's going to happen. When they blink stun with the Sand King, there is going to be a global. You jump in the Ember at the same time, he gets himself in a horrible position where he has to immediately disengage. I don't know if they mistimed the Silencer ultimate, that they thought it was still on cooldown. If it was up, that's just flat out a bad play call.
He had it up for an extra 30 seconds, so it wouldn't have been on the edge of the timer. But you're right, maybe that is just what happened. LGD lost the timing of the global silence. And CDEC, like, it was perfect for them. LGD came underneath their own tier 1 tower, jumping in aggressively, and then you catch them out. They can't do anything more. No epicenter, nothing like that. At least Yao didn't throw away the epicenter. But at the same time, all he got in return for it was a slight pick-off on Silence. They do find Aggressive inside the jungle. No doppelganger available, but 17 1 charges will allow him to turn the Burrow Strike from Yao, but the back in, and in comes Ember Spirit. Still looking for that pick-off over on PL. He might try and search him away, but while he's locked inside the steering chains, can't do anything. Garda with the Slave. He picks off Xiao. He's a double stun! Shiki as well! He's from the trees, the Burrow Strike out, but again, Global Silence back up again with the Tombstone. It's going to be a hard run out of here. Shiki behind MMY. They're going to find the pick-off once again. CDEC, they did lose their PL. Will maybe get out of here. He throws down the Spirit, but Storm Spirit Soros going as well. The brothers again try and bash each other down. Q's behind. No silence for 4 more seconds. And the back up to the wall. You might have the Storm going down low. The attempted TP unsuccessful. It's 4 heroes for LGD down again. CDEC, what a storm. What a play. What a team.
You know, I was about to say that this is a really important pick-off they find on the PL, but CDEC are just making the most incredible reads on the fights. Their positioning, their initiation angles, especially the Lina there with the 2-hero stun. The fact that they have the haste rune on Storm Spirit and he is Iron Shield up, just easily able to run heroes down. LGD are just getting, like, they're not just getting outplayed, like they're actually getting really, really outplayed in these fights. It's not something you would imagine going in. Like, LGD, one of the strongest teams on the field, are just really being tested here.
They really are. But CDEC's got their number, and they just keep calling. LGD, where do you even turn? Because Sylar can't be part of these fights. He's 0 for 2. Hasn't found 100 CS in 16 minutes, which is uncharacteristic for him. But it's the fact, like, he's got enough for the Claymore now, but still another 1,200 away from having his full Battle Fury. And maybe that's the question we should be asking. CDEC's finding fight after fight after fight, but we have seen what happens if you can just win one good fight for LGD. Find the space for Sylar to farm up. That's the way LGD can get back into this game. But it's saying winning a fight up against CDEC, it's easy to say. It's a lot harder to do.
Yeah,
and in fact, CDEC, they're coming in. They're going to take Roshan as well.
They don't have the best counters to AM in this game. Their Lina is going 4-staff instead of the Yule, so she will not be farming as fast, and that means the the Aghanim Scepter potential is pretty delayed. Darkseer is okay if he gets a good wall, so you get an illusion. Global can be decent, but apart from that, like they don't have that massive physical damage that's just going to tear him apart if he gets good farm. So I'm with you on that. If they do find some good farm on Sylar, that is the hope for LGD. Unfortunately, it's the only hope, and that's not what they were looking for 16 minutes in. They were hoping to have an even game where Anti-Mage was going to help them, not where he was going to absolutely have to carry them almost single-handedly come 30 minutes.
I would actually love to know how much intelligence has been stolen by Q from who? Like, who was actually signed to drop lower? Because I'm looking at the Sand King, and his mana pool is 416. This is not a terrific mana pool to have. If he uses one Burrow Strike, he's practically short of his full combo. Now, speaking of that, Epicenter top lane, Burrow Strike, but he missed it! On aggressive, now the Global Silence will come in, and now he can't even Sandstorm, he starts it up. There's nowhere to hide from aggressive. Into the trees, he'll get the counter kill. And LGD, they've slipped off the ice.
Oh boy, you know what's funny about it? This might actually have been good for LGD, because even if they land that Epicenter Burrow Strike, the instant Global Silence, they would have still committed for the kill, and it could have ended even worse.
They're really going to be better. I'm looking at Xiao Wei walking into aggressive and instantly getting lanced. The Tombstone will drop from MMY, but they won't care. Back into another wall. You might get a Searing Chain, but you've lost the rest of your team. Laguna Blade killing off MMY, XZ into the trees. They're waiting for something. What, a Mana Void to kill off that Darkseer? He'll still tank the damage, Sylar. That's level 2. Blinking forward. Now he's got a chance. Bringing him down, but welcome back to the fight, Shiki. Going after Sylar. It's the fresh Orchid off the back. And maybe you can spirit yourself down, but the mana is still there for Storm Spirit. Jumping in deeper, maybe just wants to run away. He's got a little bit of help from a Sand King in the neighborhood. But CDEC already took the fight. They didn't take the tower, however, but they took the fight.
They are just rolling them. Even though AM finally finds a kill there in the Darkseer, it's a horrible exchange for LGD as he does end up dying in the end. And, you know, I know this is something I've talked a lot about in this tournament, something I've been harping on a lot. I really love the fact that Storm Spirit went Orchid first. I think in this game, when you're playing against an Anti-Mage and an Ember Spirit, if you're having a good game, snowball off it. Don't try to go for that Bloodstone and play a little bit more of a farm game and expose yourself to mana voids, right? If you have a bigger mana pool, you're using more mana, and Anti-Mage has a way bigger chance of killing you off. Right now, he just got a Battle Fury. He has so much money he needs to farm until Storm doesn't pressure him. He needs a full Manta and able to be ordered to counter this, and that's like maybe 6, 7, 8 minutes down the road if he gets ganked once or twice. So CDEC in really good command of this game right now. 2 silences available, of course, Orchid and Global. And who knows what's coming up next for this PL after he grabs his Diffusal.
Matt, I'm actually thinking right now that Mana Void is not even going to have an effect. If that PL throws a lance down to Anti-Mage and is able to have just a couple of hits, he's not going to have enough. Because even if he's going to flick himself in, you're still looking at 260 mana that has to be consumed by the Anti-Mage. He really isn't a wizard. He doesn't have the mana pool. And 17 to 5, CDEC such a huge advantage as well. How long until this Darkseer completes up the Greaves? It's not far away for him. Even Lina walking around with 4 staffs, Arcane Boots, Urns. You talk about Storm Spirit picking up an Orchid, he's already got another 2,000 in the bank account. He can just get both.
He definitely will if this momentum is kept up. Oh,
long jump going in after Sylar, and then the Global Silence. MMY can't do anything about this. The Meg charge will be there, so maybe he can do something. And that is the Global Silence down without finding a kill. A rare occurrence in this game.
Yeah, he missed the jump, and I think even if he hits it, that's probably a little bit too ambitious going for the Anti-Mage right there.
He might jump again. He picked up a Regeneration Rune and has Nagus the Immortal. You can just go very deep for anything. There's your jump first.
He's just keeping his regen running.
Yep. It's still got half his duration left. And Vision, another static remnant's gonna see inside. Actually, he doesn't see the heroes. Yao sitting right on the edge, and in fact just jumps in straight back out again. The regen was cancelled.
Tombstone being dropped. I think he wanted to bait Yao into missing a Burrow Strike there.
Top lane, maybe dead, maybe not. Jump out with the Spirit. And the Tier 1 tower still got denied by PL. That's the first tower LGD have managed to drop to CDEC, and it's been denied.
Maybe knew he could push that because he had 17 on the wand. So wanding should give him more than enough mana to immediately remnant. Even if he's fully out of mana from aggressive illusion spam here, he's still getting lots of safety. And at least it's something for LGD. It's a little bit to hold on to, but unfortunately for them, Salar is not farming much right now. He doesn't feel safe going anywhere. Now he's finally going to go top. That's not really safe either.
No, it's up against Aggressive. And it looks like Aggressive is going to go into the Mana Storm.
Okay, it is safe for now, actually, but how much vision do they... I'm wondering how he knows this is safe. So they have the ward mid, where he sees the rotation away from...
Wow, Aggressive Blink Bar. This time Yao's going to hit the target. And with that Doppelganger down, well, he can't do anything. The PL illusions were forcing Anti-Mage out of the lane.
It was actually enough on his own. I thought AM was at least going to be able to farm 2 or 3 waves with the positioning of CDEX heroes on the map, but Aggressive gets the job done alone. More progress being made here for CDEC, who I think are just waiting for the next global to fight. It's a good play call. There's no reason to take the chance here and get turned on with a huge epi. Now in 4 seconds they'll have it again, and I think they're hungry for a fight once more.
Aggressive again, using an early Doppelganger. Maybe he can catch him out, but of course this has happened. He doesn't really know it. But okay, yeah, he walks in. That is the real PL, and all of a sudden it's back off cooldown. Side of Fistarian Chain, and now with a Burrow Strike. This would be big if they could take the kill. No Doppelganger at the moment. In fact, now Global Silence, it stops him. He can't get down to the Spirit. He'll be able to move down with a Sleight of Fist, but Yao the Slave just on the edge. But Anti-Mage, in the meantime, dropping underneath the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Aggressive survives, and LGD, they can't catch a break.
Storm Spirit had a double damage rune and his Ion Shield. He just burns through Anti-Mage. You can tell from Anti-Mage's build that he's really scared of this situation. He's got 3 points up in Spell Shield. It's still not enough. When there's a Storm that jumps you with double damage, all the attack speed from that Orchid, and of course, the help from the Darkseer. They get another key kill, they get a tier 2, and again, all they expend is a Global Silence and a bit of mana on the Storm. It's very difficult to see some sort of bright outcome for LGD right now, as their entire map is being controlled, and it's not just that they're finding the kills, they're getting all the right aggressive wards down. It's difficult for AM to come out into the jungle now without being spotted, and Storm is reaching a point where he can solo the AM from full health because he has a Bloodstone and an Orchid almost.
See, that's when you have those cruel moments. Where LGD, like you got 3 players on one, you think you're going to find the opening, and then you realize the horrible, horrible truth. The fact that CDEC is just so farmed that 1 player can go up against 3, or survive against 3. And with Global Silence, if it's off cooldown, you kind of don't even want to see a 5-on-1 engagement, because you could still disengage as CDEC. I was finding hope. Like, I really thought there was hope for that PL attack, but directly after it, CDEC just crush hope.
We're very close. If Ember would have been able to jaunt or activate his Fire Remnant, he would have killed him actually.
Yep.
But the Global came out just as the Remnant was traveling and maybe didn't get there. So perhaps with a slightly better execution from LGD, they could have been able to grab that kill. And it is absolutely huge to get any sort of kill right now. They're really far behind, 15,000 gold and 12 experience. That means a kill on the enemy carry is worth like 1,500 to 2,000 gold, I think.
If they can just get 1, it's worth so much. But CDEC, they smoke up, they move past the Radiant Observer was noted out, and now maybe there's your Orchid. Trouble again for the Ember. They can just Laguna Blade him down. No way to get out. And CDEC went for that fight just as Global Silence was coming off cooldown. So if they did have LGD come in on them, they would have just popped that and looked for more. But because they didn't even have to use that, now CDEC can force an issue, or at least force a buyback on an Ember.
Oh, they get Sylar as well. This is a problem.
This is big. Global Silence won't have to be used, but the Burrow Strike does come in, which means Global Silence will be used. Defusal on Sylar. He can't run away. And 3 heroes from LGD, they're right in front of CDEC. The Lancers will slow MMY down. And Xiao Wei will successful TP for the CM MMY. Ulti as well as Tombstone, but he just ends up beating both towards CDEC. And there's no buyback for the Undying or the Anti-Mage. This could be CDEC's chance to take a mid-Rax and put 1 foot forward towards that winner's bracket final.
You really don't want to say it, but right now this game just looks so over. Every attempt LGD does at anything gets completely counterplayed. 95% of the aggressive plays from CDEC are successful. They make all the right play calls. They lose nothing ever, it seems, and just put a lot of pressure. They get 3 kills, or maybe, no, that was only 2 kills, I guess, but the Ember was also dead, so 3 in total across there. Now getting another tier 2. They're building close to a 1,000 gold per minute advantage over the Radiant side, 26 minutes in. Almost a 20k lead. LGD were favorites going in. They're just looking like the way inferior team in this matchup. So
They really are.
really impressive from CDEC.
It's been crazy play. You can say it's over. I refuse to do so. I will muzzle that fat lady until the bitter end. LGD just keep on fighting. They were smoked up looking for an opening on top of CDEC. Again, they read the play beautifully, and they understand that LGD are looking for some kind of collateral kill. They won't get it. And even then, if CDEC don't feel like they're far enough ahead, they've still got themselves a triple Ancient stack they can farm up, while actually Shiki goes into the Radiant Ancient. He's gonna get frostbitten up, but he doesn't really care. Well, maybe he will. He jumps down. Where's that Mana Void? It would actually end up killing off Garda if they stand next to each other, but the triple stun from Garda! He brings down Zhao Wei. There's your Mana Void into a Barrel Strike, but still Garda, he is alive! They go over on Yao. 3 heroes down. Garda making the plays, and LGD biting the dust.
Shiki with the perfect ball lightning. The Anti-Mage, you heard the sound from the ultimate there. It was a 1/10 of a second from landing the Mana Void, dealing huge amounts of damage, maybe finding the kill. Shiki dodges it. Garter with the massive play there, the triple stun.
It really is unbelievable right now just how much LGD have been taken to school by CDEC. They come in, they'll take the mid-racks, they have global silence back up, so even as we're going to see LGD respawn, how do you find the openings? They move forward for the Ember Spirit, but they're unable to get him. Defensive Spirit keeps maybe up, back in base, and you even get the Laguna Blade ulti, Ags upgrade in for Garda. CDEC will back up. They give respect to LGD for the moment. In fact, they're already moving over towards Sylar. He's the man that's farming up on the top lane.
Shiki's trying to take maximal advantage of the fact that Sylar still doesn't have the Manta style. If you go over Sylar's history on playing Anti-Mage, I don't know how few games he hasn't had a Manta by minute 30 before, but we're closing in on it here. He has about 900 gold to go at this point. It's 450 GPM he needs to acquire in the last 2 minutes.
Just to mock him, you can have a look at the Phantom Landstorm, what he's about to complete.
Yeah.
What the Anti-Mage wants, the Phantom Lancer possesses.
He's got almost like, he has a 4,000 net worth lead on the AM, and if you look at the net worth, 4 of the top 5 are actually CDEC. The support Lina of Garter, I said it wasn't going to be that fast of an Axe with the Force Staff, never mind. He's got Axe, Force Urn, Arcanes, and I think he didn't just pick up that Axe, I think he's had it for a little bit. Unbelievable.
He picked it up only 1 or 2 minutes ago, back when they were looking to go down mid lane. Now LGD, they are moving players down to the bot lane. Shiki's the first one to reveal himself, but Garner is right behind. A Force Staff into a Light Strike array would easily buy some space. And you see LGD, like all they saw was the Storm Spirit, but they have no idea what is behind that. Right now, Aggressive is the man that's flash farming up the Ancients. He only just purchased up the Mana Style and already has another 1,000 gold in his bank account. In fact, make it 1.2k. He got interest. And CDEC will just take Roshan.
Yeah, you can't contest this if you're LGD, unless if they catch the Silencer, so that he doesn't get global off, they won't really stand a chance here. There is finally the Manta coming out for Sylar, so it does get it sub 30, but just barely.
He needs to burn so much mana off that Storm Spirit, and of all of CDEC in one position to get hit by the Mana Void. That's the dream. But the dream is very far from reality.
Aegis here for Shiki. The only way they kill him is with a really good Mana Void, and I think we're down to the point here for LGD where...
Storm, long jump, finding Zhao Wei, chasing after him. He doesn't even have to use the Orchid. Just pops the Crystal Maiden.
We're at a point where they have to kill the Storm Spirit with Mana Void in order to bring him down at all, and it's not enough if it kills the Storm. They have to force him into a position where other heroes are in the proximity so that he gets 2 or 3 kills with the Mana Void. Else, these team fights are just not going to cut it. The alternative for LGD is to start playing like super split pushy and just hope that CDEC don't get to break another lane.
But they can't do that. Like you saw what's happening on top lane. Where
Storm can just pick them off.
Yep. And even then, like, you got Ember as well as Anti-Mage trying to push out this top lane. Creep, skip it, and keep the pressure on. But in the meantime, PL just throws out Lancers, he'll survive, and will BT down and join the rest of his team. Maybe Searing Chain's over on Aggressive, but he needs to BT back to base because CDEC, they've arrived. Shiki just, in fact, just jumps inside the base, pops the Remnant. Now he sees MMY, but doesn't care. He's still got the Aegis model, the gem, the boots. There's no place for the SK to hide. In fact, Zhao, the small jump avoids the Burrow Strike with only a micro jump, and even Xiao Wei, he's starting to peel illusions at the back end of the play. They all could overrun maybe, and CDEC, they can't even be contested because LGD cannot cast an ability. Not to mention, Global Silence is still up for CDEC and all these illusions. They're actually burning off Sylar. They have to clean this up. Finally, Aggress is going to get frostbitten, but pops out, and there's your bait. The nice one from Yao, but the better one from the Lina. You've already lost the Ember Spirit with Laguna. There pops Shireske. 3 down. It's about to be 4. They're even going to feed the courier. Reyes for all the viewers at home if they can get it. And in fact, they will. There goes Q. Takes out the courier. And LGD, they are trying to drink the well dry as they are stuck at base with no real hope of even coming out to CDEC. All 3 heroes have no buyback.
The most perfectly executed game of the tournament, maybe barring the 16-0 from Cloud9 in the group stages over IG. I cannot believe how well CDEC are playing this against one of the best teams in the world.
And they're going more, they're going up the Silencer. You may as well, after any mage, you may as well pop the Global Silence back and back in. This is over. They have absolutely been crushed. GG! LGD, not only did they lose, they lost to an overly impressive CDEC. A flawless performance by the team that has come the hardest road to get through the winner's bracket. Hi.
And just look at LGD's expressions. They can't believe it either. They're like, what just happened?
I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I've been like permabashed.
If CDEC play like this going forward, they have got to be the favorites to win this whole thing. Like this kind of play, I feel like I haven't seen out of any other team in a best of 3 so far. Like both games, they are so extremely good. I think a big key to their success, as mentioned, the Darkseer of XZ. I think an absolute hero you have to watch out for. But then the question is, do you give Aggressive his gyro? There's a lot of problems to deal with for the up-and-coming
There's
opponent.
so many questions out there. CDEC, it's not as even though they're flown under the radar. They've went through the top of the groups. They come through and they're in the winner's bracket final. CDEC, terrific performance. Let's get the thoughts of the analysts.
Oof, what a breathless game. Thank you very much, Toby, down on the floor. CDEC Gaming are into the upper bracket final.